What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we have a fixed blade. I know it's been a while since one of those. This was sent by Rusty Knife Lover. This is the Condor Lost Roman. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Lusty. Rusty. Sorry, buddy. I lust after you, man. Rusty Knife Lover is a huge support to the channel. He has sent me quite a few knives. A lot of them you've already seen. He sent me quite a few fixed blades, and it takes me a little bit longer to get to the fixed blade reviews because I don't carry them as much as I do the folders. But this one, the reason I'm doing this one first is because my son fell in love with this knife. He really liked it. And so we were able to play with it just a little bit. As you can see, it comes in this really nice leather sheath, and it is horizontal, right? Horizontal carry instead of vertical. And I usually like, if I'm going to carry a fixed blade, I usually like it to carry like scout carry. That's usually the way I like to do it. So this sheath right off the bat wasn't the best for me in the way I do it, but I was able to put it on the belt and still use it, and it works fine. It doesn't really wobble about because I wear a little bit wider of a belt, but the retention is really nice, really good. It did quite well. I'm very impressed with, for what you're paying for this guy, which is around 73 bucks or so, depending. I'll put a link down below where you can find this if you're interested. But yeah, I was just really impressed with the knife and the really well-made sheath that you get for that price. Let's go ahead and take it out of here. Look at this thing. It just looks badass. My son was immediately drawn to these markings and carvings that are on this walnut handle, and then this finish. This finish is called their Condor Classic finish, is what I believe. It looks basically like hand forged. Really nice. I really dig it as far as the way this knife looks aesthetically. It has brass pins construction. It is a full tang, and it has a little ring down here. Now, the ring is not big enough to put your finger in unless you have smaller fingers. Like maybe my son's could fit in here. I don't really know. But it is full tang, and you can use this maybe as a little pommel or something to kind of pound something in, maybe a tent stake or something. It's really nice, and it is in 1075 high carbon steel, which I think is a great steel for a fixed blade outdoor use. As you can see, the finishes they have on this, it is not carried out to the spine, so you will be able to, it's a 90-degree spine, so you will be able to use this to get some sparks flying. So that's really cool. Oh, look at that, man. It's just really beautiful the way they've got this done. You can see here, which is not perfect, but for the price you're paying for it, you can see kind of the epoxy around the pins that came out. Not a huge deal, but just look at that. I really like it. Now, it's not a small guy, but it's not huge as far as a fixed blade. This thing is about 9.7 inches overall, and it's got a 4.9 inch blade. The thickness here is about 100 thousandths, so it's not very thick on the spine or on the thickness of the blade, and it comes to about 27 thousandths behind the edge, which in turn made it a pretty good cutter. Obviously I carry folders all the time for my EDC task, but I was able to cut with this, and it did pretty well. We've actually got a few things here that we're going to cut just to kind of show you, does this finish hinder it in any way? Because that was something that I was worried about. But to be honest with you, I didn't really care too much because I dig it. I just dig the way that thing looks. As you can see, there's Condor and then the Lost Roman. I mean, I think it's a perfect name for this knife. Let's see. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's see what it does against the cardboard. Slices really well. Now, I'm pretty sure that Rusty has sharpened this. From what I can tell, it looks like it has been sharpened. The only thing I did was just put it on the strop for a few swipes. But as you can see, cuts cardboard really well. Let's see what it does to some paracord. That was effortless. Not the cleanest cuts, but it really didn't take much to get this going through it. So that's really nice. What about some, what do you call this stuff? That twisted sisal rope. I don't know, Cedric and Ada, he does this a lot, and so I just figured I'd pick some up. This stuff is a little bit tougher, but it cut through it. That first one was kind of me just sliding off, and that's the nature of the beast with this stuff. But it cut right through it. So this thing, guys, is pretty nice. It's a really good cutter, especially because it's so thin. 100 thousandths blade stock, I think, is really good for like an EDC light duty fixed blade. Now, ergonomically, the handle is pretty neutral. There is no guard or anything to kind of keep you from coming up on the blade, but I don't feel that's really an issue, at least not for me. Now, I didn't go outdoors and really give this thing the what who, because I just don't do that with other people's knives. But it is very, very comfortable in hand with my large, very large hands. My hand naturally wants to go here, and then let's see if I can get a good push. It kind of, this right here goes into my palm, the bottom part, and I can kind of get a little pokey, because it's kind of sharp right around here in this area. So other than that, this thing is very, very comfortable. There's no jimping or anything on here, but very comfortable to just kind of get around. When I was cutting with this right here, that's how I was doing it and pushing it through, and it works really, really well. So all in all, I'm digging this. I'm digging the way it looks. I'm digging the price point that you get. My son really wants one of these, so I'm probably going to pick one up for him because he really likes it. There's not much that I think I would change other than maybe putting in a sharpening choil. I think that would be better for everybody. I mean, especially if you're going to use this as an outdoor knife. The walnut handles are beautiful. I'm not sure how it would hold up over, cold, wet environments. Walnut's been used for hundreds of years, for handle scales. So I'm sure it would be fine. It's just I don't have a lot of experience with it. So yeah, let's go ahead and get behind the camera. I'm going to show you some size comparisons of what I do have. Let you know exactly what this thing looks like up close. All right. Let's get a closer look at the sheath. The stitching looks really well done. I don't see any fraying or anything like that. I'm not sure how much this was carried by Rusty before he sent it over. But yeah, this says El Salvador, I believe. And that might be where Condor is. I think it is. But I don't know much about Condor. I've had a few of their products, but I don't think I've had any of their knives. And so I am relatively new to that. But as you can see, this sheath is just a perfect fit for this knife and just really well done for the price. Let's get a closer look at this finish. Look at that. I mean, it's kind of that old patinaed look, kind of hand-forged look. I'm not sure what the finish is, and how they make this. But as you can see on the spine, it does not have any of that. So really good as far as striking a ferro rod. There is your bevel. And just look at this, intricate carving that you have on this handle. I'm such a huge fan. It's what drew my boy in, and I just think it looks really, really cool. The handle on the tang here, nice and flush, just really, really nice. I am a fan. So as like I said before, it's like a 9.7 inch blade. So it's not tiny, but it's not large as far as fixed blades are concerned. Just going to kind of give you a couple of size comparisons of folding knives because that's mainly what we have here. So there it is against your PM2, and then here it is against the Benchmade Super Freak. So as you can see, if you know what these knives kind of feel like and the size of those, this kind of gives you an idea of the size of this thing. And the size, I think, is pretty good. As far as an EDC or a light duty task camp knife, a survival knife, the 1075 high carbon steel, I think, is a fine steel. I don't have much experience with it, but this thing seemed to keep up. I do believe that it would be pretty easy to sharpen in the field, which I gotta practice. I sharpen on my KME, guys, and I don't really have anything else to kind of sharpen in the field, so I probably need something to do instead of bringing something like the KME, because that's not something you can really do in the field. So if you guys have any suggestions on a good field sharpener to touch up like a fixed blade like this, let me know, because I really, the KME is the only system, or the fixed angled system like a Lansky and the KME, the only things I've ever had. So help me out, guys. Let me know what you think would be a good field sharpener. That would be awesome. Guys, before I let you go, me and Kevin from Lefty EDC started a live. We did a test this Saturday, and it ran really, really well. We were super, super stoked. I mean, we didn't tell anybody about it, but we had like 30-something, nearly 40 people jump on at one time, and it was a lot of fun. It's just two dudes, me and Kevin, drinking some beers and talking knives and just cracking on each other like we do on a daily basis on our feed that we're a part of, an Instagram chat group. So anyways, if that's something you'd be interested in, definitely stay tuned. The videos are going to go back and forth on we're going to be broadcasted, I think, on both channels. We're trying to figure out the chat situation, because if you're on my channel watching it or his, you can't see both chats. So we're trying to figure all that out. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really would love to see you guys there. We will definitely let everybody know when that's going to happen next, because it was great. Kevin is my brother, and we had a lot of fun. So guys, stay safe in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.